Hello, everyone, and welcome to Discussing Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Kyle Jones, and for the first time in what literally feels like almost a year, mainly because it's almost been a year, welcome back, and I am honored to say welcome back, Clarence Brown. Mr. Brown, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Is this thing on? Does it still work?
It is.
Yeah.
I am doing good, man. And as you said up top, glad to be back on. Glad to be back on with you, man. You guys.
Indeed, indeed. And it would not be Discussing Who if I could not say welcome back, Mr. Lee Shackleford.
Hi, guys. And yeah, how great it is to have the three of our heads together again. Exciting. It has been a very, very long time.
It has been a very, very long time, and it's mainly my fault. So for everyone listening, you know we've been gone for a long time, longer than any gaps there have been in the now 10 years of Discussing Who, because as of March the 6th, 2026, we marked our 10th anniversary, and that in part is what made me, without a doubt, want to get on and record another one, because I'm like, we made 10 years of a podcast when a lot of podcasts don't make it through 10 episodes. So
That's right.
Kudos and thank you to the both of you.
Yeah. Thanks to you for keeping us chugging along all that time. So, but you know what? It's a time travel story. So, you know, we just skipped over.
Yeah. You're right. Here. People listening to us in 2027 did not even feel a gap if they binged all of our episodes.
Exactly.
So, but
that's
you know
how
what?
It works.
The thank you needs to also be for everyone who has listened, whether you're listening to us, as Lee, you like to say. What do you like to say? Because we've not said it in so long.
That's true. I almost forgot. You got other things you could be doing, but you've chosen to listen to us clowns. So thank you so much. Thank you, and we hope to be worthy of your investment.
And Clarence, I want to give you a plug if you don't mind, because as I've been radio silent, even on your other sister podcast, brother podcast, however we want to call it, you've kept the fire burning ever since with our Discussing brand. And what is that show and where can they find it? Because I want to compliment you for keeping going and holding yourself to the fire and keeping making content. So what is that other content?
Yeah, that other content is going to be Star Trek, and you can check that out by going to discussingtrek.com, where myself and Larry Irby talk it up.
Cool.
But yeah, sometimes you've kept it going just by your own self.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't like that.
Oh
dear.
Oh dear. No. You seem to have lost your co-host.
Well, sometimes you just get out of your comfort zone. You know, it's a good thing to do every now and then to push yourself. You know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I like to segue, and you made me a great door opening right there, kind of pushing yourself, because I kind of push myself away from the mic, and I kind of push myself away from the TV in some degree, at least from Doctor Who, after the finale of the 2025 season, the season 2 Disney Plus era. And I know we did a recap of that back in June, July of last year that honestly hasn't been aired yet because I haven't put it out yet.
Oh.
But my question now becomes, and I want you both to answer this, why do you think this episode, this series, this finale, and I know it's been a while, but why do you think it created a disconnect for me with Doctor Who? Because before you answer, let me remind you, I've not really binged any Doctor Who. I've not rewatched those series after they've aired. I have all the new Who. I know it's not streaming in America anymore on HBO Max, but I have the episodes. I could go and watch them now if I wanted to, but I haven't. I've been disconnected from Doctor Who. Why do you guys think that is, or was?
I don't know. Maybe it isn't Doctor Who. Maybe you've changed.
Mm.
I mean, okay. There are moments in our life where we like things more than Others, maybe you've outgrown grown it a little bit, or I don't know. It doesn't hit you the same way it did when you were in your 20s and 30s or whatever. It
Well,
could be a myriad of things.
Okay, valid point.
yeah.
Lee, what do you think?
No, I think that's a very interesting point. That the show is constantly changing, constantly
That's true.
being reinventing itself. But yeah, so are we. So I think sometimes the show is going to match up with who we are when we are, and sometimes it's just not. So I don't know. But I think we may have really been deeply questioning some of the choices and directions of the last season or the last 2 or 3 or 4 years of the show, and I feel like in the fandom at large, there's a sort of a malaise, a sort of a oh well, what here we go again. Let's see what happens next, or maybe even a dread of what's going to happen next. I personally would like to see Billie Piper as the next Doctor, but that's I honestly do not think that's what's going to happen. So it just feels like another cop out. We got to do something, so let's do this, and it's just hard to work up any enthusiasm. That's what I was trying to get to say.
So let me throw this back at you guys. And I know that you guys are both fans of one particular of the two that I'm going to mention, but so that I have two different genres or two different fandoms, I'm going to direct one specific at each of you. Lee, I'm going to start with you. You are a big fan at certain points of your life, or maybe even so as equally today, of Sherlock Holmes. Have you, to Clarence's point, have you found yourself weaving in and out of your, I won't say devotion, but your fandom association to Sherlock Holmes?
I used to have a large collection of Sherlockiana, and at one point in my life, I just said, this is taking up space on my bookshelves, things that I could use this space for other things. And I gave a lot of those books away, and I sold some things, and I would give anything now to have them all back again. But, it was just one of those times. I think it is. You're right. It's to Clarence's point exactly. There was just a time in my life where that didn't seem to fit with who I was. And then I rediscovered it, and now I'm in it up to the eyeballs again. So, yeah.
All right, Clarence, for you, Star Trek.
I don't know if there would ever be anything that makes me walk away from it completely. Of course, there will be iterations of it that I don't love as much. Sometimes things change. Sometimes I change, and the things I watch doesn't hit me the same, especially newer stuff. Now, there are older things that I think I can always watch, and I said one of the things I love about like the 90s Trek, at least most of it, I can watch it, and by the end of it, I can have that happy, warm feeling in my heart. Oh, that was so, they ended it so elegantly. And I don't think much will change that. Even as watching these newer shows, new Trek, as people like to put it, and then going back and watching shows that are referenced by the new Trek. And I just watch them, and I'm back in my, college dorm room watching it. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything that can completely pull me away from liking it, but certainly there can be iterations of it that don't hit me as much as maybe a previous version.
All right. So beyond us having our weekly Doctor Who that forced you guys in some way to be connected for 10 years to Doctor Who, beyond that, since we've last recorded, have you personally found yourselves less invested, maybe that's the word, less invested in Doctor Who as a fan after this past finale or this past series? Or do you feel nothing has changed?
Oh, I have gone racing back to classic Who. It's just like I haven't rewatched anything since Rose, since the 2005 reboot. If I've had the desire to watch something, I've gone back to watching Genesis of the Daleks or something, So that's been my response. It's like And I guess it's like Clarence's experience of Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and so on. It's just like, I think I want to try to get back to what I really loved about Doctor Who. And it's, yeah.
So I have found myself. Oh, Clarence, what about you? I'm sorry.
I haven't gone back and watched anything, but I have clamored. I really wanted to watch the war between land and sea. I've wanted to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to get spoiled on that. So, although I haven't went and actively watched anything, I've been trying to keep up with the news, and also I want to watch that series as soon as we can get our grubby little hands on it.
Agreed. And we will review that when we can get our land-bearing little grubby hands on it. Yes. Definitely want to see that. I've thought a lot about this. This isn't a question that just came to me tonight. I've been asking myself this question for the last 6 or 8 months. And here's what I think the answer is. And I'll tell you what's brought me back to Doctor Who, believe it or not. And I know you guys are going to be shocked when I say this. River Song. You know, I saw a clip of River Song on YouTube, and I watched it. It was a clip from her first appearance. It was like, oh, okay, well then let me go back and watch. And then I, went back and watched. Then I watched the Husbands of River Song. Then I watched, A Good Man Goes to War. And then I watched The Day of the Doctor. And then the domino effect, started happening. And I then made myself think, what was it about this last series that just put a bad taste in my mouth? And this is what I think it was. One of it being not the series itself's fault, which was, I think I expected RTD2 to be RTD1, a continuation. The same level of intricate storylines, whether you'd liked them or not, but that same type of storytelling, the same type. But I think what just offended me as a fan was to find out that there was Carole Ann Ford clips, scenes that went on the cutting room floor because of that disastrous reframing, in my opinion, of the finale. That is what I think just made me think this is unfreaking acceptable that Carole Ann Ford is on cutting room floor.
Yeah.
So
we would have had closure to a 60-year-old
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't think that it could have just been they couldn't make it work? Because I'm sure they really wanted to have that footage in there. At least I would hope that they'd really want to have that in there. But as the story shifted for some reason or the other, they couldn't just make it work,
Well, yeah, but it was that perfect storm of a lot of things that were getting sort of shoehorned into the American template because the money is coming from the House of Mouse, and because Shooty is leaving.
Yeah.
And we needed to do something about that. And so, yeah, they're doing a from page one rewrite of the last episode. And yeah, so the decisions they made there, they dropped the Susan storyline. And I understand that those things happen, but dude.
Yeah. I also feel like if it's going to be a year and a half, 2 years before we see the next Christmas special or whatever we're going to get anyway, why not just finish the episode as intended and pay Shooty to come back for one more episode, for 10 minutes of one more episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with you. Absolutely. Because if you go back and you watch that episode, now the only positive thing that I will say about that episode, other than the actors all did their job and they did them well, was it made me really appreciate the 13th Doctor. It made me really become a fan that I'd never been of the 13th Doctor, wanting to go back and watch her episodes because, I just really liked seeing her. She was a breath of fresh air in that episode. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen that. But I would think by now, if you're listening and you would have seen, that that finale. But I think that somehow on a primal level in my brain offended me that you put Carole Ann Ford on the cutting room floor. I keep saying it, that I just thought that was like sacrilegious to Doctor Who as a institution or as a whatever. That was just unforgivable.
It is disrespectful of its origins. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And Clarence, I think you're right. I think that was probably, they had no choice, but it was a choice still made. Thoughts?
It's fair enough.
Well, I bought the DVDs of the specials, the David Tennant as the Umpty Doctor. And I haven't watched them. I have the discs sitting right here. I haven't watched them because as much as I appreciated the production values and, sort of the scale of the story that's being told, I'm still just kind of irked by the idea that the way to make people appreciate the show is to find a way to shoehorn David Tennant back into it. And,
hearing the rumors of that.
Well, before we get to the rumors, let me ask this.
Well, that's right. Are we going to do it again?
Are we going to do it again? So let me ask you this question. Yeah. When do you guys think, and it may have been from the very beginning, when did you guys feel, if you felt a hand of mouse, as we will call it, over Doctor Who, forget the special effects part, but as far as the story goes, when did you feel like you felt the Disney presence? Did you feel it in the specials for the 60th, or did you feel it at the beginning of Series 1 in 2024? Or 2025? When did you guys feel the hand of Disney?
I'm really reluctant to blame Disney. Though I know they do have the final decision. We know RTD has a lot to do with it as well. Yeah. It reminds me of with Star Wars and Rian Johnson. Mark Hamill came in and played his role in the Last Jedi, I think it's the name of the movie, episode 8. And as soon as he got the chance on the circuit, he was like, well, I don't think it's going to be the Luke Skywalker you're looking for. I just wait and see. It might not be the Luke you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard RTD say anything contrary to what he did. I mean, of course, he probably wouldn't because, he got to stand on his work, of course. Yeah. But other than our perception that Disney influenced it and brought it downhill, is there any other confirmation or producers, writers, have we heard from anywhere else that Disney's, other than us perceiving that maybe that's what happened? Has there been any concrete news or anything that's actually what happened?
Good question.
I just felt like there was an inevitable force, an invisible force, that if we're going to try to repackage and rebrand the show and actually have the audacity to call this season 1,
oh boy, Jesus,
then we know that what we're trying to do is make this a show for an American audience, an indisputably British show, a British landmark, but it's going to be for an American audience and for the new world of streaming. And so it doesn't even matter that it was Disney. It's just whoever that giant American streaming service is, they're going to call the shots. And, they can say yay or nay to anything. And they said, they made several calculated choices and they feel calculated to me. So we can't put Tom Baker back in the show. If we could, we would. But for a lot of people in America, if they know and love Doctor Who, it's because of David Tennant. Let's figure out a way to put him in it. And who is the guy who brought all this back from the grave in the first place? Let's let him be the showrunner.
That's fair.
It's all just so, it's cynical. But this is how American motion pictures and television work. You figure out what works and you just keep doing it. Keep doing the same thing over and over. So because that works, I mean, they'd be fools not to, in a way.
They're the real companions of Doctor Who instead of Doctor Who, instead of the Real Housewives, the real companions of Doctor Who.
Real companions. Oh God.
Oh, but literally to your point, if you took Doctor Who and you made it in America, maybe that was what it would become. Instead of Doctor Who, it would be the real companions of Doctor Who, because what can we sell that, now there's a spinoff, the real companions of the Master.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'd pay good money to see that, but
the real exterminated of the Daleks. The real upgraded of the real upgraded of the Cybermen.
We have swiped, some British shows, and we've been doing it since the 60s. They said, hey, that really works. And then, to some degree, greater or less, we'll import it to American television, and people, my age may not know that Sanford and Son was based on a British TV show. All in the Family was based on a British TV show. A lot of the icons of my growing up years, and the biggest hits in the U.S. are The Office, and which is based on the British Office, and Ghosts, which I very much enjoyed in both incarnations.
Agreed.
Prefer the British Ghosts.
Agreed.
So yeah, we could make an American Doctor Who, but it would be
Doctor Why.
Doctor Why would be the good question, I think, because there's nothing wrong with the British version, and it has worked, since 1963. But I don't know. It just it is. There's a secret sauce somewhere, and I think it sort of quote unquote came to America without the secret sauce. It just, I don't know.
I'm second time.
Yeah.
Right.
I think one of you or both of you said this when we got to the finale, and we made our dislike of the finale with we had Sutek in the first one, computer generated dog, basically, whatever he was. Then we get to Omega or Omega, again, a computer generated villain. And while that satisfied the budget, it was fine seeing a guy with a weird headpiece on. I would have much rather have seen a new, more fantastical headpiece for a human wearing than seeing, this weird looking grim creature that he was.
And the very idea that Sutek has been riding around on the TARDIS since the 1970s. That's just idiotic. I'm sorry. But it's the very thing that made me want to go back and watch classic Who. It was like, okay, that's not Sutek. I'm going to go watch Pyramids of Mars again because that's Sutek.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway I get from what you just said is that the story matters more than the presentation in sometimes. Because even with the different non-updated whiz-bangy graphics, if the story is good, we'll take the headpiece. In a robe.
Okay. All right. Speaking of people in a robe, you go back to the very first episode of quote unquote New Who, you have, Rose's mom in her robe and a nightgown with a strange man coming in who's fighting clearly just a mannequin hand by moving around. There are no special effects, nothing really weird other than the actor selling the fact that it looks like a mannequin hand is choking him, so that it was special effects done by acting, not by some weird morphic hand that's wrapping around his neck for the sake of let's use the budget.
I guess the big effect in that episode, in fact, is Plastic Mickey. Right? Apart from that, it's really pretty much all practical effects.
So, Clarence, go ahead.
No, I was going to mention also, like, I wonder if we're thinking more poetically on some of these episodes from an earlier era, and not so much classic. I'm just talking about New Who mostly, because I think we may be envisioning the entire arc more than, because every episode wasn't a gem, of course. And even in
No.
Star Trek,
No.
every episode isn't a gem. And I know that we truly love some of these shooty episodes, like truly love.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm having trouble throwing the baby out with the bathwater type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sure.
But at the end of the entire season, I still get the sentiment from you guys that, was it all worth it? How it was wrapped up.
But you know what? You brought up a very valid point. Look at the things that I have said, even in this episode, saying it made me like and made me interested in the 13th Doctor. So now that I am removed from the 13th Doctor for X number of years, I'm now wanting to go back and watch her run in its entirety with a fresh set of eyes and be, as you said, Clarence, at a different point, a different mindset of your own personal understanding, your own personal growth. And again, to your point earlier, when you answered the question of what made me step away, maybe it's not just the show content. Maybe it's your outside influences, your outside trials and tribulations, for lack of a better point, that maybe makes that content less fantastical because you're dealing with things that are more somber. And even for that, it's not an escape that it once was in some degree until it is again.
Yeah. I want to come back to that, to the outside influence, but I did want to touch back on your kind of not falling out or whatever, but you had misgivings with the Shooty era, and we were bringing up Disney as kind of the catalyst there. But also, I remember, Kyle, you were not a fan of the Jodie Whittaker era.
No,
at
I
all.
wasn't, but
and
I didn't fall out. That
4
was
or 5 seasons of Doctor Who that just didn't hit you.
no, it didn't, and Lord knows it didn't. I mean,
You really hated Chibnall.
I really hated Chibnall. I do, and I still don't like saying his name. But that said, to your point, Clarence, I'm in a different place and a different mindset, and maybe outside influences makes for a epiphany of, dude, chill out. It's not that, it's not life or death when you're dealing with life or death.
That's a really good point.
Because did Chibnall come in to purposely offend fandom? No, he came in to write what he thought he needed to write or wanted to write and the story he wanted to tell. Did it hit it off with some people? Absolutely. Did it hit it off in the wrong way with some people? Absolutely. Now, this I don't mind telling. Part of the reasons I think that I stepped away from this show, this podcast, as well as the Doctor Who fandom for a moment, was stuff that I was dealing with in my own personal life, from family sickness in various forms that I'm still going through. Not my own sickness, thankfully, but other members of my family going through life-threatening illnesses. And as you grow older, Lee, you and I were talking about this before we started recording. If you're lucky enough to have parents who are living, chances are you will have parents who will pass before you do. And dealing with the inevitability of that and seeing it come closer and closer to not being an inevitability, but a reality, is a sombering moment, but also one that your mind has to calculate only so many things. And
that's right.
maybe you just get to a point to where your mind just stops calculating, because I can't tell you how many times since June or July that I've wanted to pick up my phone, type in a message and say, let's record next Tuesday. And what do you want to record? And then I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow comes. No. Oh, I'll just wait another week.
That's right.
And then a month passes. And then Christmas passes. And then it's, you know what? I'll post those 2 episodes that I haven't posted on our anniversary date to mark 10 years. And then that anniversary passes.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's an excuse, but for anyone listening, if you've gone through depression, you know what that feels like. You know how sometimes that can be debilitating to some degree. And, you know, I'm sure you guys both have had points like that. And again, that's not an excuse for anyone listening, but I just want to acknowledge that all of us, every single one of us, everybody listening, everybody on this show, I think we all have moments to where it's all we can do is make it through the day.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to say that that's okay and that's enough because you made it through another day.
Yeah. Because sometimes that feels like a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. And sometimes our fandoms are the treat that we hold out to ourselves, you know, as the reward for having made it through. But I couldn't agree more. Sometimes that just feels like it feels irrelevant. You know, it just the real world has got me down so much I can't go play in fantasy land. I just can't. So, yeah. Well, while Kyle and I are doing the care of aging parents, Clarence has got 2 little ones running around, biting him on the ankles. So, you know, it's circle of life, man.
Yeah.
That's a great idea for a song. Wait a minute, I got to write that down. Yeah.
But you know, even with what Clarence was saying, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this. You know, there are other people that don't have parents, but there are so many other parts of your family. Look at Clarence. You mentioned that you had 2 dogs, and one of the dogs recently passed. You know, and that animal, for all intents and purposes, was a part of your family. You know, it was there every day.
Absolutely.
And Lee, you have 2 dogs. You may want to kill one of them right now, but
at the moment, yeah.
You know, so I just want to express again, for anyone going through depression, or for if you or someone you care about is struggling with depression, please know that help is just 3 digits away. I looked this up right before we started recording. You can dial or text 988 anytime, day or night. And this is, of course, in the United States. And for those of you navigating the challenges of caring for an aging parent, you don't have to do it alone. Reach out to the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116 to find support right in your community. So those 2 numbers again are dial or text anytime 988, day or night, or for Elder Care Locator, 1-800-677-1116. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there and share that. So let's switch just a little bit. I know we've been talking for about 30 minutes now, but I want to talk about something a little bit more festive, something that's coming up this Christmas. Our only confirmed Doctor Who episode coming up soon, the Christmas episode, which is going to be introducing, as it says, Billie Piper as ? Who is Billie Piper?
Yeah.
My question is, who is Billie Piper? Who is she playing? ?
Right.
Yeah. What don't you get? She's the Riddler. No, that's crossing the streams. My money is on Bad Wolf. She's an artifact of the TARDIS.
Playing the long game there. Playing the long game. I like it.
Okay, Lee. Clarence, what do you say?
I can dig it. I love everything Lee just said. Make it be some anomaly where Bad Wolf reemerges and we see Billie Piper come back to do her thing. I love it.
I'm going to go in another direction, but I'm still going to use your word anomaly. But I'm basing this off of something I think that was either on the main Doctor Who X account or Facebook or website or something, but it was from the files of Shirley Ann Bingham, and it was talking about the anniversary of this person's disappearance. And I'm wondering if we're actually seeing the return, not of the bad wolf, but of Rose Tyler.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've seen that speculation elsewhere too. Yeah.
it could also mean, the return of not the 14th Doctor, not the 10th Doctor, but the return of the human meta-crisis Doctor, which would explain why he looks 20 years older in, when he comes back with Rose. And it would make perfect sense why he looks older. But would you guys be happy to see a return of Rose and the meta-crisis Doctor?
Oh boy. I don't know if I'd hate it if it was like a side story, but
yeah,
she's popped in. If it's Rose, which I don't see how it could be at this point, because we saw her regenerate into the. I wouldn't mind seeing those characters pop in as, what is it, the alternate universe or meta-crisis Doctor and Rose coming back from the alternate universe. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, but we've already seen the Doctor regenerate into Rose or Bad Wolf or the next who knows. So I don't know.
Do you suppose we can do a whole Christmas special that doesn't answer the question of who the next Doctor is?
Oh boy. I wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate that either. And in all likelihood, that's likely what's going to happen.
That's kind of what I think. Yeah.
Because my next question is going to be, after 2026 Christmas special, when for thou art Doctor Who returneth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And no man can say, right?
No man, no woman, no Time Lord, no Dalek, no one, no Pating even.
Wow. Even River Song doesn't know when the...
Spoilers.
Yeah, right.
Is the Christmas special the only thing in the pipeline right now? Has that even been shot yet?
Good question. I want to say
I don't know.
that they are recording it in August, September, July,
That's
August,
late.
September. But I saw, I think it was Who Culture maybe that I saw this on, don't hold me to that, but that's usually the time frame, July, August, September, of when the BBC would traditionally shoot the Christmas specials. So that's not unheard of. But I guess with the Disney having done it 2 years ahead of time, that does seem late.
Would reading the AI overview of what the special might be too much for this moment?
Sure. Hey, it's AI. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just understanding that it is what it is, right?
I'll Google AI overview.
Okay.
Take it with a grain of salt, guys.
Mm-hmm.
The 2026 Doctor Who Christmas special, written by Russell T Davies and produced by Bad Wolf / BBC Studios, is confirmed for Christmas Day 2026. Leaked reports suggest a high-stakes adventure titled The Lost Doctor, involving a World War II setting, a Dalek redesign, and a potential appearance by Billie Piper and David Tennant. Thank you, Google. Insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lee, what do you think?
I think that's probably all, entirely possible. That's and the AI has done what it does. It's just scraped the internet for what little we have, and it's just said, here's what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of the Lost Doctor.
Yeah, I like the title. The title sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. We haven't done that before, but yeah.
So let me pose this question. Would you guys be opposed to, rather than, if they don't know who the next Doctor is and they still want to make content, would you be opposed to, in 2027, there being, say, a 4-part story, and then in the spring, I'm just making this up as I go, and then another 4-part story in the fall, and one of those stories focuses on the fugitive Doctor, and the other focuses on the 8th Doctor?
I'm gonna tell you what I want. I want anthology style Doctor Who for one season. Bring back the Eighth Doctor. Let's do the Fugitive Doctor. Hell, bring David Tennant back. Let him do one story. Matt Smith. Let's do everybody.
Let's do everybody.
Anthology
Tom Baker is still
style.
walking and talking. Let's bring
Let's bring him back. Bring him out the museum. Let's do it.
And then have a big finale where they all come together at the end and solve the equation or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, if they're shooting for the stars here, come on.
Hey, yeah.
But if you're looking at it from a perspective of something new, but something also that would say, hey, fans, we appreciate you. Your anthology thing, Clarence, is a very valid point. My idea for the two, many things for those two popular versions of the Doctor that haven't had enough airtime is viable. I don't know. What do you think, Lee? What do you see as next for Doctor Who?
Yeah. I'm a Clarence. I would love to see a 4-part story that was over 4 weeks. I just think, wouldn't that be awesome? But yeah, who is the central character in all this? I feel like I'm now kind of imprinting on the idea of it being Tom Baker. He's 96 years old or whatever it is. I don't know. I really, really don't know. And I'm glad I don't have that decision to make. I'm available, though. I would like to mention that.
I think, all right, well, let me ask this before I say, let me say what I think because I'll probably forget it.
Yeah.
I think for the next actor, whether the actor is male or whether the actor is female, I would not want to be that actor because I think more than any actor since maybe Christopher Eccleston, the weight of Doctor Who seemingly from a fandom's point of view lies on their shoulder, and probably from a BBC point of view is the expectations of how do we return this to whatever, or how do we make it whatever.
Cast a cisgender white male. That's what we do. I'm sorry. I was just
Who
joking.
knows?
You could see both sides of the argument there, right? You say, look, this is what's worked before. We tried other things. They didn't work. Let's go back to what works. And on the other hand, wouldn't you feel sort of shortchanged? I think there's no way to win at this point.
Yeah, it is.
You'd say, how?
And Clarence,
it's like it was a mistake for the Doctor to be a woman or to be black. That was wrong, and now we have to fix it. I mean, that would be even if that's not the intent.
Yeah,
I think that's how it would play.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how.
So what do you do?
Perception doesn't lie. The perception of the show at this point over the last 2 iterations, that's what it is. I mean, I don't know if that's what it is, but that's the feeling of it.
But something. It's something that we have talked about in our reviews when Jodie was the Doctor, when Ncuti was the Doctor, in different contexts. But Lee, you made a point of you weren't, and I may be misquoting you, so correct me, but right before we started recording, you said it wasn't maybe so much the show that was making you feel disconnected, but the feel of the fandom. Is that how you worded it, or tell me what was it you said?
Well, I said that I felt the fandom turning on the show. That there was just a lot of people who were saying, that's it, the Doctor Who's done. And there were a lot of people who were saying, the Doctor can't be a woman. It's not Nurse Who, as I remember somebody on the internet said. So of course there are those people who are going to leave, and you say, don't let the door hit you on the way out. And people saying, okay, well, the Doctor can't be black. I can tell you that right now. And he's not gay. So yeah, okay, bye. You've had your say, go away. But, I think a lot of people just stop watching because it stopped being interesting to them. And it's not about it may not be about the central casting at all. It's just sort of like, I don't know, like this episode's got cartoon characters in it. And then this one's got space babies. And I don't know what's happening. I quit. I quit. So
But you guys, Clarence, you brought this up a little earlier, saying that individually, some of the episodes with Shuti, we really said were just outstanding. That he, hit it out of the park. And I want to be clear: the disconnect was not because of him. I thought he had the ability to do great things, and he did great things. But it goes back to the storytelling, and whatever reason the storytelling didn't hit, because for all intents and purposes, if RTD planned a 4-year run originally, because that was what he came out and said, he had it planned out for 4 seasons. By the end of the 4 seasons, all of these little gaps that we were seeing would be like, oh yeah, well just, wait to series 4 and it'll all make sense, and we just never got there.
Yeah. We're going to bring it all together. I promise you.
And also, you have to think that the Whitaker Shuti era was not, I don't want to use the word turbulent because it's not that serious, but it's during a time where the perception is twofold. And it's across the board, not just Doctor Who. It's seemingly that shows were attempting to be more progressive, and at the same time, the anti-woke firestorm started and the light is on fire. It's just like a perfect storm of right when shows are being more inclusive, more progressive. At the very same time, people are railing against anything that's not status quo. So it's kind of the perfect storm both ways, unfortunately. But the thing is that I don't get for a lot of these shows, it's been this way for a long time. It's been progressive for a long time, but it's just like now they've opened their eyes and say, "Oh, it's too progressive."
I've told you. I thought David Gerald, creator of Troubled Tribbles and many other things, I thought nobody put his finger on it better than him. That somebody on some forum that he was on said, "When did Star Trek get so woke?" And he said, yeah, it was probably in that episode where they had an Asian who was flying the ship and a black woman who was an officer on the bridge. You remember that episode?
Also known as the first episode?
Yeah. I thought, good point. Good point, dude. If Star Trek wasn't what people are scornfully calling woke, that was the definition of it.
But to your points, when you, as a collective consciousness of society, find yourself in an environment where the norms of etiquette are broken, globally in some ways, and in some ways different and whatnot. But when you find yourself in that position and you see the norms of society going up in flames almost, and those who maybe were silent before of their alt opinions now feel emboldened to get out and say, Star Trek is woke. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Doctor Who is woke. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
You're right.
And be full on racist, sexist, ageist, whateverist, you can say, because.
Did you mention homophobe? Don't forget homophobe.
Oh yeah. All of that, because it's acceptable, because I can be bad and nothing's going to happen to me because fill in the blank, not saying that's right, but
especially when it's the agenda of the entire administration. We won't get into that.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. But it is reality,
So that's it. So, I'm glad we're talking about this, because I really have wondered if the next Doctor has got to be a white dude, just because it would feel like a reset of things that we've tried before, or if it would just feel like capitulation to powers that be. He was like, now that feels like the cop out to do what we've always done.
Or maybe just find the best damn actor, be they gay,
How
be
about
they
that?
straight, be they man, be they woman. And guess what? And I know this is going to, I'm glad you're both sitting down, but pair them with the best damn writer that could
Mm,
write for that
preach.
version of the Doctor,
Yes.
and let those two create something amazing.
Yeah.
That is what, because I don't think at the end of the day, if you go back and you shut your eyes or you just read the script, I think it's pretty much universal that you could imagine any incarnation of the Doctor reading an episode. You know, you could hear in your mind Matt Smith reading a David Tennant episode, or a Shuti reading a Jodie Whittaker episode, or a William Hartnell reading a Tom Baker episode, for the
Right.
most part. You
Yeah.
know, there are some, character differences for each, but you get my point.
Yeah.
So if the Doctor remains the Doctor, just write well and have a good actor and allow them to do what they do.
You
You know,
remind me now that when I was in college, I don't know why, but I had somehow gotten onto the boards of the college film screening committee and things like that. So people were always in conversation with me about what do you like and what are your tastes and this, that, and the other thing. And I would speak very warmly about Doctor Who, and sometimes people would just look at me like I was an idiot. It was sort of like they wanted to come and pat me on the head and say, "That's nice. You go play with your toys," because they would say, "Well, I've just seen a little bit of that show, and it's cheap, and it just." I don't know. It looks like a soap opera. It's obviously all on videotape, and it looks like they're doing it for $1.95. You like that? And what I would say was, you got to keep watching, because what I love about this show was that they don't have all the big money resources that another show might have, that we might expect of a legacy science fiction series. What they have instead are great actors and brilliant ideas. And that's what makes the show work. And the special effects can be pathetic. And I don't care,
don't
because
care.
I am interested in what that person is saying and what they're thinking and where this story is going, because some of it is brilliant. You just have to suspend disbelief and say, all right, okay, that's we're inside a spaceship now. It doesn't look like one, but okay, we're we're going with it. This whole thing came from poverty. The only reason why his ship, why the TARDIS looks like it does, was because that was an inexpensive, way to get into the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a rocket, with fins and things like that. It's going to be a phone box. It's just. So yeah, that's really is what has driven me back to the original series, because I know you could always almost always count on that. Great performances from some of these actors and the things they're given to say. Good Lord. So,
Well, speaking of being able to see things that these classic episodes were able to say, since we've last recorded, however many months ago that was, 2 more episodes lost to time have been found.
True.
And they will be aired, I believe, on the BBC or either in the iPlayer in April. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
we're now
inevitably we'll get a DVD.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I keep meaning to look it up. Is that a serial that was completely lost?
I think so. Maybe the Daleks Master Plan. I'm not sure which two. I should have looked that up before mentioning it. I just know 2 episodes have been found. So we're down to 95 from 97, I think, missing.
Wow, yeah. But yeah, it's a story that I don't know well, but yeah, it is but it is a Dalek story. And I think it's like the first episode and the last episode of the serial. And I don't know if that means that now we have the whole thing, or now that we just have those 2.
I think we just have those 2.
Okay. Yeah.
But hey, we just have those 2 where we had, if that is the case.
Right. And in that announcement, they also mentioned that new quote, previously undiscovered prints of some episodes that we have had for a while, that we now have better prints
of
some of those episodes. So yeah.
Well, before we begin our wrap up, I want to mention, because I said earlier something that brought me back to Doctor Who, and I just now remembered another factor of bringing me back to Doctor Who. And I can't go a complete episode of Discussing Who without mentioning this person in some shape, form, or fashion. And I can hear her laughing at this moment, listening, because she knows what's coming next. But after, I went on my Doctor Who hiatus, this person reached out in our chat that we have with her, the three of us, and Shannon Perry, our friend from Oz9 podcast, reached out and was watching the specials, and she's giving me pretty much a play-by-play of going through that. And I want to get on with her and get her thoughts of that. So it would be a podcasting crime for me not to say Shannon Perry within an episode of Doctor Who. But if I had her forgotten, just know it's not my fault. So
Also, oz9.com.
Oz9.com, yes. So, gentlemen, any other things before we close?
My heart is glad just to have sat here with the two of you and like old times.
So, Clarence, anything else from you?
Lee, were you done?
Yeah.
Oh, indeed. Just glad to catch up with you guys, man. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Okay,
we're back. We're back, right?
We are back. We are back. We are back. And as it says, here we go again. And I want to be corny, because what is an episode of Doctor Who, Discussing Who, without me being corny? And I have to say, final rating. Lee, your rating on us being back recording again, scale 1 to 5. What say you?
Oh, 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
6 what's?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I meant 7 of 9. No.
Affirmative.
Yeah.
All right. Clarence, what say you? Final rating.
5 out of 5. David Tennant's coming back.
Okay.
There's only 2.
3?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
If you say the Meta Crisis, that's the third one.
Yeah, he's the third one.
I saw a let's see, and I'm going to say this wrong, but I saw a meme one time that was like, for the 70th anniversary or the 80th anniversary, the 5 David Tennant doctors or whatnot.
I saw that too, yeah.
All right. I'm going to give this 5 Here We Go Agains out of 5, because literally, here we go again. And for everyone listening, thank you for coming back. Thank you for listening to us again. If you are new to us, listening to us because you just happen to see us pop up, guess what? There are over 300 episodes and 10 years worth of content that you can go back and listen. Thank you for being here. And as always, but again, feeling like the very first time, we will be back next time.
You've been listening to the Discussing Network. Find out more at discussingnetwork.com.
Allons-y.
Was that a Madonna reference?
Yeah.
When was it? What?
For the first time?
I don't know.
It feels like the first time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. So I'm ending the recorder.